Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Racing Statistics YouTube channel for qualifying for the Chinese Grand Prix in 2026. Oh my god, and everything has just started to lag all at once. That's great. I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll work it out. We managed to make it to the end of the sprint. I think we can make it through a qualifying session. It's a pleasure to have you all here. I will be your commentator for the qualifying session and for the Grand Prix tomorrow. My name's Evan, and I was also, of course, your commentator for the sprint if you were here with us for that. Hi from Australia. Well, hi back to you from Australia. That's if you couldn't guess, that's why my internet's a little bit rubbish sometimes. We are 15 minutes, roughly 15 minutes, out from the start of qualifying. Once everything stops lagging, I might be able to work it all out. Of course, for the first 15 minutes, not much is going to be going on. So feel free to ask any questions, leave any messages. I'll try to get to as many of them as I can. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. If you like what we do here, if you think I'm a half-decent commentator, feel free to give a like. Of course, preferably just don't do anything if you don't like it. And subscribe so you will not miss out on any of our streams. We will be broadcasting every single session, as we already have done so far this year, and we'll continue to do so you can follow along with the entire Formula One World Championship, no matter where it goes and whether it happens in a certain part of the world. I hope we will get news on Bahrain and Saudi Arabia by tomorrow. If we don't get it by tomorrow, yeah, we're gonna have some concerns, because I think it was Kim Illman, Australian photographer, was reporting that that the teams don't send all of their stuff, but they do start sending stuff to Bahrain after China. So we will be, of course, hoping to get access to that as soon as possible. Beautiful, sunny Tasmanian summer day. No complaints from me. Are you in Tasmania? That's sweet. I'm in Tasmania too. And it's, it's actually been quite a nice day. I was at the park earlier today, staying nice and warm in the sunlight. So yes, if you are from Tasmania, welcome. Hi, it's a pleasure to have you here. Will Lindblad not come back? I must say, I hope qualifying goes a bit better for Lindblad than it did earlier, because of course, for those not aware, he had an issue in free practice one, which meant he did less than 10 laps. I got into Q2, but not far, and he then DNF'd with some issue, I'm not sure. I'm on the Tas Peninsula? Oh, sweet. Sorry, just nerding out for a bit. That's where my mother grew up. She came from the Tasmanian Peninsula. That's sweet. Have someone from there. Hello, Johnny from India. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here from India. When will qualifying start according to IST? No idea, but I know it starts in 13 minutes. So that should be your answer. Goodness me, trying to catch up to live broadcasts. I'm going to give a little behind the scenes for those who are curious what it's like on my end. So I've got a Discord call open, I've got the YouTube stream, and I've got the live pictures stream. Peninsula, thought Tasmania was connected to the mainland. No, we're talking about a region in Tasmania, because just roughly an hour's drive south of the capital city of Tasmania, called Hobart, we have an area known as the Tasmanian Peninsula, where basically it's a peninsula. There's not much else to say about it. It's a really cool place. If you've heard of Port Arthur, that's where it's on the Tasmanian Peninsula. That's probably the most famous place from there. Unfortunately, not for the best reasons. And it's a really cool historic place. So if you come down, I would highly recommend it. Now it's time to stop plugging my home state and get back to Formula One. It's quality time. It's quality time in 12 minutes from now. I'm hoping. From France overseas, that's very cool. Lewis Hamilton in the top 3. I mean, if he hooks the lap together, I definitely think he's capable of it. Hello, it's pleasurable to have you here. Getting excited with 300 viewers right now, and we're slowly climbing likes. So we're getting there slowly but surely. And I think for once, all my streams are actually up to date. I'm not lagging for any of them. That's a damn miracle. So he's hoping it stays like that for a little bit. When does it start? You see, we got below the track map. We have a once I did this ad that I've just gotten at the worst time as I'm explaining something on the screen. Below the track map, we have a quali starts in timer, which is a rather convenient timer, and it'll tell you that we will be starting in roughly 11 minutes. Why Charles burned Lewis' tires? So Lewis burned his tires up fighting George a lot in the opening laps, whereas Charles could kind of just potter around behind them, hanging onto the back of them, which then meant Lewis's front left tire was really, really struggling. So that's why Lewis struggled towards the back end of the race and wasn't able to hold on. So Williams fan Q2 would be amazing. Not enough people will DNF to get us into Q3. Unfortunately, I would tend to agree. Williams have been... I mean, Aston Martin undeniably have been the most disappointing team this year. But yeah, Williams probably second for most disappointing team. Mostly because of the fact that they spent like all of last year telling us that they weren't even trying last year and they were 5th in the constructors. And everyone just thought, oh, okay, so that's that. But yeah, we just kind of assumed that they'd probably be competing really closely with the top 4 teams. Ironically, they are now, but that's because of the fact that the Red Bull is way off the pace. Red Bull are making me think that Haas is the 4th fastest car, which that's not a good thing because they probably aren't. But the fact that they can have such a bad race or such a bad sprint race to make me think that is not good for them. Has got a poll going. Who will qualify higher, Charles Leclerc or Lewis Hamilton? And honestly, if I were to make a bold prediction right now for you all, my bold prediction would be that I think we will get a Ferrari on the front row. That's my very intentionally bold prediction. That's my best guess. Will we? Goodness knows. I have actually made a prediction for who will be out in what sessions. So you will know what I'm expecting. Out in Q1. We'll start with just Q1. My predictions in no particular order for the minute at least. I've got a rough order, but I wouldn't bet on that. Valtteri Bottas, Arvid Lindblad, Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll, Carlos Sainz, and Sergio Perez. Those are my predictions for the drivers who will be out in Q1. And I wouldn't say any of that's particularly bold. Lindblad's been struggling because, of course, he missed so much. But then again, Liam Lawson proved that Racing Bulls has got pace. So if Lindblad has got the chops that we think he might have, he could recover. Join our F1 Bingo League? Yes. Join the Bingo League. It is it's very fun. I'm participating in it. I'm not doing super well because I'm not confident. So because basically you just got 9 options as to predictions you make. You score points if the predictions are correct. And it's not like bingos and you've got to get them in a certain order. It's just you see which ones you can get right, and depending on how unlikely the prediction is you score more points. But I keep going for the real easy ones. How long till Q1 starts? Q1 starts in 8 minutes' time. 8 minutes. Which, yes, will be mighty close. Do Racing Bulls have the edge on Red Bull? Get back to me after the end of the qualifying session. I mean, we have just watched a sprint where Racing Bulls has scored technically infinitely more points than, or infinitely times more points than Red Bull did. So, who knows? Hello, hello. Pleasure to have you all here. I have to say that Beardman, Beardman, I'm assuming you're referring to, is doing nice. Behrman, I reckon we could see a fight between like Behrman, Asley, possibly a Lawson and Hulkenberg. I could see them having a really tight fight for like P9, 10, 11, and 12 in the championship. I could see that being really tight across the whole season, which I think will be really cool. I mean, if just I'm not going crazy, I will get up the current driver standings because I haven't actually looked at them after the sprint race. I will go with a gander. So, for those also who have not checked, George Russell leads the championship on 33 points. Then Kimi Antonelli and Charles Leclerc are tied second on 22 points each. And Lewis Hamilton is fourth on 18 points. Lando Norris is fifth on 15 points. Max Verstappen is sixth on 18. Oliver Behrman is seventh on 7 points. So he's only 1 point behind Verstappen. And if anything, the sprint race and qualifying would indicate there's a chance he might outscore Max. Lindblad still holds on to 8th with 4 points. Oscar Piastri has moved up to 9th with 3 points. Gabriel Bortoleto is tied with Liam Lawson for 10th, both on 2 points, and Pierre Gasly is on 1 point. So Behrman's already in 7th. And if Red Bull continue to not seem to have much pace, that would make 7th the best of the rest. Once, of course, Piastri works his way up and Max possibly drops down the championship. This would probably be the lowest Verstappen's been in the championship in quite a while. I don't know off the top of my head. Of course, you've got quite a few drivers who are at record highs in the championship. Of course, George Russell leading the championship for the first time. Kimi Antonelli has never been as high as second prior to this. Ollie Behrman in 7th. Arvid Lindblad in 8th. Gabriel Bortoleto in 10th. I think Lawson in 11th are all the highest they've ever been in the championship. And technically, in 15th, Franco Colapinto as well, as he's never been that high in the championship. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are now 5 minutes out from the start of qualifying. I'm just seeing the F1 intro is beginning for me. My broadcast may be slightly off sync for a little bit, as I'm not only lagging, but trying to sync up what my TV pictures are showing with the YouTube stream so that my commentary is accurate as to what you're seeing on the track map. So it might take a minute. Usually it's the first couple of drivers to head out on track. I sync it up with them, but it could take a minute. So pole prediction, Russell, then Antonelli, Leclerc. That's a pretty safe bet. My predictions would probably look something similar to that. As a Lewis fan, he won't get any chance of an 8th World Championship now. Time is over for him. Only wins and podiums are going to work out now. I mean, if that Ferrari was the fastest car on the grid, I'd be a tiny bit more inclined to say there's a possibility. The car would have to really play nice for him. It would really have to play to what he likes in a car. But yeah, Charles currently at the stages that they're in their careers, I would be inclined to say that. Oh, I've just realized how behind my YouTube stream was. So we are 2 minutes and 30 seconds away from the start of Q1. having a look here. Hopium Bull, yeah, I feel bad for the Red Bull fans. I feel bad for Isaac Hadjar, because somehow managed to get, like, he's managed to not only pretty much beat the Red Bull second seekers, he seems to be comfortably around where Max is. So he's beaten the curse, but now the car's just bad, and even Max is doing poorly in it. And Max make it into Q3? I reckon Max will still make Q3. But, yeah. Oh, wow. Here's a fun, positive stat. George Russell currently topped every single session this weekend. Of course, topped free practice, won, took pole for the sprint race, and has now won the sprint race. But, of course, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Antonelli, and maybe a lucky McLaren will be trying to upset that statistic. Possibly nicking pole position. I predict Russell, Leclerc, and a Red Bull in top 3. That's a bold prediction. I would not predict Red Bull in the top 3. Russell's topped each session since Australia FP3. Thank you for that quick stat, Crash. That's not terrifying. I joke. But I mean, really, I think as much as I know people saying, oh, the Mercedes is just so dominant and the racing is so artificial, George is still having currently the season of his life. He's on it. And it'd be quite harsh, in my opinion, to take that away from him. As I see, okay, I should be able to sync up my live stream soon so that we can make sure that my commentary is accurate. We're about to start. The clock has struck 6 p.m. for me, which means that we should be underway. My stream says we are, or my pictures stream says we are still 40 seconds out. So my commentary will be a little bit all over the place a minute as we work this out. I must say, one thing I've noticed, which I don't know, of course, for people without access to TV pictures wouldn't have noticed this, but Cadillac are so close to the end of the pit lane. When Valtteri Bottas pulls out of his garage, if the red light is on at the end of the pit lane, he can't actually fully enter the fast lane. He's stuck halfway along because of the fact he can't turn enough before he hits the white line on pit exit. Which, that's rather curious. And it also means that he pretty much guaranteed always gets first out. As qualifying gets underway, I see the first cars entering out on track. I'm a bit ahead of the YouTube stream, I think. Yes, I am. Yes, just got the pop-up that Valtteri Bottas has entered track. I will pause my broadcast when the time becomes appropriate as we get ready to sync myself up and get ready for commentary for the first qualifying session of 3 to happen this afternoon. Actually, Bottas, I would love to see Valtteri Bottas do something magical, but he's in a Cadillac, and there is only so much that car's going to do. As bad as the Aston Martin is reliability-wise, it's not the slowest car on the grid, rather unfortunately. Okay, let's try to work out a spot where I can sync this up. I'm going to try to sync it up as they enter turn 11. I think that's a good spot. Try to sync my stream up with. Go for about there. And then I watch on where the little dot is, and I unpause. There we go. Okay, I'm synced up and ready to go. Bottas was on pole in China 2019. Of course, Bottas nearly won in 2018. But the indomitable honey badger, Daniel Ricciardo, nicked that from him. His speed column, well, the issue with the speed column, I would imagine that this would be an issue. But Formula One is lying to us. They're not giving us accurate speed data, which is concerning, to put it kindly. But the speeds you see at the end of the straights may be a bit misleading. I'm going to say that much. As Valtteri Bottas crosses the line to start what will either be another build-up lap or the first push lap. I know he's setting purple sectors, but don't expect those to last. The moment that Colapinto and Albon start setting mini sectors. F1 embarrassed by the amount of Lyco and super clipping? Yes, that is completely what is happening here. What's wrong with the timing page? Nothing is wrong with the timing page. I don't believe, at least. Everything. Oh, the... no, I think that's all correct. But yes, I do believe drivers are out there pushing on 2 laps because Valtteri Bottas will be the first person to set a lap time. Trust. And can we see Cadillac in Q2? I think we might at some point this year. I wouldn't bet it'll happen in China. Hulkenberg is going to get a podium this season. I would love to see either of the Audi drivers on the podium. That would be very, very exciting. Oh, so just watching Lindblad go through turn 6. Big old lock up on the inside front right tire. And I would imagine he's probably going to back off with that lap as we see Valtteri Bottas just passing Hamilton. I don't think he'll quite get past Leclerc to set the first timed lap. What will that time be? It'll be a 1:36.968. Start us off, which is not too bad. That's pretty half decent. As Franco Colapinto goes nearly a second faster with a 1:35.973. Looking down the order, Hadjar's set a purple sector 1, and Verstappen has notably not gone faster. It's by 100th of a second. Stop the count, 100% stop the count. Colapinto on pole with Bottas second. I think that sounds like a damn good setup as Charles Leclerc takes purple sector 1. As Alex Albon jumps to third. That looks like it was another build lap for him. Carlos Sainz follows him up to fourth. Looking at the purple sectors, Verstappen's got purple sector 2. And Gasly has a purple sector 1. Stroll jumps up to third. Only just behind Bottas time-wise. Leclerc, yes, so Leclerc looks like Verstappen and Hamilton on medium tyres, I've just realised. As Alonso jumps up to second, Lindblad up to sixth, and Lawson sets a 1:34.731, 1.2 seconds up on Franco Colapinto, which is the sort of pace we were expecting, taking the fastest final sector. And Hadjar nicks it from him to go 0.2 of a second faster, as we also see Max Verstappen now approaching the line. Verstappen goes faster, only marginally though, both on medium compound tyres. Leclerc will be next across the line. What time does he do? He doesn't beat Verstappen. 1:34.507. We would have hoped for maybe on a little bit faster than that. Hamilton across the line goes fifth on a set of mediums. Piastri sets a purple sector 1. That's got me excited, I know that much. And he sets a purple sector 2. Piastri is on a flyer as Gasly jumps up to second on a set of softs, just behind Verstappen. That's a mega lap. As Ocon jumps up to sixth place and Behrman pops him. Both 0.3 and 0.4 seconds off the pace, respectively. And Albon jumps up to 8th. Hulkenberg, purple sector 2. What is Nico Hulkenberg doing in that middle sector to achieve that? Carlos Sainz goes P8. Next across the line will be Lando Norris to go fastest by just under 1/10 of a second, and will be Oscar Piastri across the line next. Looking very handy, and he goes faster by 0.4 of a second over his teammate. At the fastest lap of the session so far. Nico Hulkenberg's looking pretty handy. Lindblad goes 10th. Hulkenberg towards the line goes second fastest. Nico Hulkenberg, 0.126 seconds off the lap time set by Oscar Piastri. That is mega from the German driver. He couldn't dream of much more than that. As we see his teammate Gabriel Bortoleto approaching the line. Gabby Bortoleto goes third, splitting. So currently it is McLaren, Audi, McLaren. As an Australian Audi fan, I couldn't ask for anything better. Hulkenberg, purple sector 2 and sector 3. That's like not even fake pace anymore, though. I don't know what to make of that. Hang on, what was George's sprint pole time again? Oh, he's getting a replay of Lewis Hamilton climbing over the curbs. That explains why his lap time was a bit rubbish. On the exit of turn 9, I believe that was. Just pulling up George Russell's sprint pole time because I want to know what that That was George Russell did all. That's not the whole time. George 1:31.5. So we're still quite far off that, but that's still a very respectable time. Perez is currently the only one really on a lap as the Mercedes head out. There we go. We can see tire compounds now as the Mercedes head out. Now we can't anymore, but it's fine. I can keep people updated. Leclerc is also on a lap. Verstappen's on a lap. Perez will cross the line soon to start a lap. He's on the soft compound tires, of course, and goes 20th. Not particularly surprised by that one. Those curious loads on the medium tires were Verstappen, Hadjar, and Hamilton. So Leclerc, I think, will be. Leclerc will be. Yes, Leclerc will be the next one. Really keep an eye on timing wise. Once we can see the timings, as Antonelli, I believe that was. Yes, Antonelli crossed the line to begin his lap. So be ready for this to go like a second faster. I'm mentally prepared. Colapinto also on a decent lap. As Bortoletta's getting a bit squeezy. Hadjar jumps up to 4th on the mediums. 0.4 seconds off. That's not shabby. So we're very crowded there around turn 1, 2, and 3 as Antonelli sets a purple first sector. How much is that up on Piastri? It's about 3/10 up on Piastri through the first sector. The sort of thing we would probably expect. I will be curious to see George Russell's first time. It's even faster. George Russell just roughly 8/100ths behind. I think I missed Verstappen's story going 6th. My apologies. And Leclerc on that lap that he was on pitted as Antonelli sets a purple middle sector. Not leagues ahead of Hulkenberg. So I was thinking that might actually be possibly where Audi could find themselves wiggling. I sure hope so. As Lindblad's also on what seems to be a half decent lap. As Colapinto jumps up to 4th. Russell doesn't best his teammate in the middle sector. Just seeing Antonelli coming through the final corner now. Lindblad crosses the line and doesn't improve. As Antonelli goes fastest by 6/10 of a second. That's with a purple last sector too. But what can George Russell do about that time? Will he beat it? Will he match it? Will he lose out to it? Let's find out. George Russell beats it. Only just though, a 1:33.262. And still, last sector, Nico Hulkenberg, fastest through the final sector. This guy is out for blood. Oh, yes, he's had another lap time, so that's where the purple last sector came in. I'd imagine that's a sign that Audi have good top speed. Hamilton's out there on a set of softs. Alonso sets a lap time good enough for 17th. Not quite what he would have been wanting. Just having a look to see who is on a lap. Alonso's, yeah, of course, just completed his. Albon's on a lap. Hamilton's on a lap now on a set of soft compound tires. So Albon and Hamilton are really the ones to watch. He's honestly in a couple purple middle sectors. That's not too shabby for him. Mercedes drunk? Don't think so. I trust they're all probably sober currently, as we see Lewis Hamilton getting a nice slipstream from, who was that, Arvid Lindblad, down. And Australia, he also passes his teammate. I think my stream's sort of desyncing a little bit. There we go. As Hamilton will approach the line now to set. Time good enough for 3rd, 0.260 seconds off. So that's pretty respectable. A 1:33.522 for Lewis Hamilton at this stage of qualifying. That's pretty neat. Lando Norris is also now going on a push lap. Going to look, Albon still in the drop zone on his lap. Norris a 10th off through the first sector. Bottas jumps up to pass Stroll. Leclerc's now on a lap. That'll probably be pretty strong. Up, Max and Isaac. Oh, no. Lindblad has an issue. Lindblad just boxed for an issue. That's terrible. Lindblad will probably be starting in the bottom 3 in that case. That's really concerning. Lawson jumps up to 6th. That's strong time from him. Norris actually holding pretty good pace with the Minnesota compared to the Mercedes. How is it going to be down the straight? Leclerc is also going even faster than Norris is currently. Currently P3 sort of territory. Not quite faster than Antonelli, but pretty comfortably faster than Hamilton. As Gasly jumps up to 4th. Again, a very respectable lap time from him, a 1:33.904. As Piastri is also improving on a lap. I didn't see the time for the first sector. It is 24.3, is a bit off compared to his teammate and Leclerc as Lando Norris comes towards the line. He jumps up to 4th, 0.273 seconds with a 1:33.535. Charles Leclerc will be next across the line as he does a time good enough for fastest as he nails the final sector. Charles Leclerc with a 1:33.175. What a lap from Charles Leclerc. How can his adopted son, Oscar Piastri, do? As we will see, Esteban Ocon and Oli Bearman are improving on laps, setting some respectable times. Oscar Piastri coming out of the final corner now. Only good enough for 6th, 4/10 off Leclerc's pace, a 1:33.590, but only about half a tenth off his teammates. So that's not too bad. 12th and 13th for Red Bull, that might be actually where they are pace-wise, so who knows. Seeing both Hasses. And projected knockout times are 1:34.7. There we go. So everyone from Bearman down are going to have to improve on their lap times or be at risk of going out. Of course, they've got the buffer of Lindblad to an extent as Bearman crosses the line to Ocon, 8th. And then Bearman will follow him across to go 7th. 0.7 seconds off the pace and 0.8 seconds off, or close to 0.9 seconds off the pace. So not too shabby from either of those Haas drivers. Should be good enough to get them through. Really, the drivers who will be looking to try to get out will be the 2 Williams drivers, as both Astons and Cadillac are probably going out. Verstappen going out in Q1? Probably not. I would imagine that he will be fine with his 1:34.4. As that puts him 3/10 up on the predicted knockout. Just having a look, Albon is on an outlap. Sainz is on an outlap. Albon's not far off Lindblad's time, so there's... Oh, no, Lindblad's back on track. He's back. Okay. So this is going to be a really, really important lap for Lindblad. He's going to have to nail this lap. If he does not, he's in a bit of trouble. Because Alex Albon is no slacker. He will jump him if he gets the opportunity. Everyone pitting? Yeah. Everyone. I would imagine everyone from probably Colapinto up could probably pit. Oh, yeah, Colapinto, Bortoletto sort of range could probably pit now and they'd be fine. So yes, currently in the drop zone as Alex Albon started on his lap, I believe. Not setting the timings are light. Currently in the drop zone, there's both Williams, both Astons, and both Cadillac. But Bottas has managed to currently outqualify Lance Stroll. That's pretty exciting for Cadillac. Albon, personal best, sector 1. I don't know what that's like in comparison to what he'll have to do. As Verstappen now crosses the line to start his lap on a set of soft compound tyres. As I would imagine, Hadjar's only going out now. He's going to have to get a bit of a wriggle on to make sure he makes the line, unless Hadjar's already on his lap, and I completely did not know. Hadjar's already on his lap. I did not clock that. Sainz is looking pretty good. Albon doesn't improve in the middle sector. Verstappen is flying currently. He's only 0.037 seconds off Leclerc in the first sector. Verstappen is fine. Do not panic, Red Bull fans. Williams fans, on the other hand, I'd be a little bit more concerned. Sainz is improving on Lindblad's current time, but he might have to do a bit better than that because I would imagine looking at Lindblad is improving. Stroll is also improving, but I don't think he'll challenge Q2. Verstappen dropping a bit in the middle sector, but still a comfortable time. Lindblad improves to a 24.5. Albon jumps Lindblad temporarily P16, which puts Lindblad into the drop zone. Will Lindblad get his first Q1 elimination in for the Chinese Grand Prix, which I could hardly say anyone would blame him if that would have happened. As Bottas crosses the line to start his lap. Lawson will be next across the line. Will he improve? No, he doesn't. Hadjar next across the line. Isaac Hadjar improves to 7th. And Max Verstappen improves as he comes across the line to 4th. That's a very respectable time. Ocon was kind of on a lap. Verstappen also set the fastest last sector, so that's not too shabby. Carlos Sainz towards the line. Carlos Sainz up to 14th. He's pushed his teammate down. Lindblad will be next across the line. His first two sectors aren't looking too shabby. He's going to want to give it absolutely everything. He's looking pretty good so far to make it through and knock Colapinto out. Lindblad up to 11th. Colapinto is now in the drop zone. How's Colapinto looking? Is Colapinto on a lap? Colapinto is on a lap. Lance Stroll towards the line. It's not good enough. He stays 21st. Fernando Alonso now to the line. What does he do? He stays 19th. Colapinto to the line. He improves to 9th. That drops Bortoleto into the drop zone. Bortoleto is on a lap, though. Bortoleto to the line. He jumps up to 7th, which drops Sainz out. So after all that, those out in Q1 are the same as those out in Q. Bottas is improving. Is it by enough? I don't think it will be necessarily. So as Valtteri Bottas approaches the line, what can he do in the Cadillac? Can he make his way out? Perez is confirmed out. Bottas stays 20th. Not too shabby. Not too shabby for Valtteri Bottas in the Cadillac. So that is confirmed everyone who is out in because Sainz is not on a lap. That is everyone out in Q1. That is Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon, Fernando Alonso, Valtteri Bottas, Lance Stroll, and Sergio Perez. So yeah, that was a session and a half. Alex sending a radio message, not particularly pleased with the car. Just a reminder, everyone, keep the spamming to a minimum. You can send your message once. I might read it. Depends how I'm feeling. No, I'm kidding. I try to make sure I read as many messages as I can. So, yes. Now it is time to get ready for Q2. Gaps seem closer than in Australia. Gaps definitely seem closer than hell. They seem closer than they did earlier today. So you won't catch me complaining about that whatsoever. I think we all prefer closer qualifyings, and I must say it's a lot nicer watching the TV pictures when you have sound muted because it means you don't realize that they're dropping revs down the straight, which is nice. We don't like to think about that. Max fans chill. Merc and Ferrari haven't played all the cards yet. Yeah, and Ferrari and Mercedes and McLaren for that matter didn't set a lap time anywhere near as late as Verstappen did. So yeah. I would imagine that they've got a bit more time in the bag. But then again, Audi are currently making me think that they're going to get a double Q3 appearance. When's Q2? Q2 will be in some amount of time that I don't know off the top of my head. It's about 10 to 20 minutes. So, let's find that. Go Max. Don't hop too high on the Max hype train just yet. You might want to wait until you see all the other teams set representative times at the same time he's on track. Because that's not what we saw. The only reason Verstappen and Hadjar went out again to set lap times is because of the fact that they were under pressure of dropping out in Q1 and, of course, Red Bull. As much as they're struggling, they're not struggling that much. Why all in the pit? It's because of the fact that Q1's just ended. They're waiting till Q2 starts. So that'll be a minute. I can't believe Audi was Sauber last year. I must say they are looking to be quite substantially faster than anything Sauber's achieved as of late, to put it kindly. Autoletto Hadjar impeding incident noted. Uh, we know in which direction. Do we know who impeded who? Thank you for the update. I can't currently see that. So, do we know who impeded who, or is it just that there was an impeding incident? Hearing signed over the radio saying that he was quite happy with that lap. So it looks like he got everything out of it that he could. Q2 when? Q2 soon. Q2 soon. That's all I've got for you right now. I hate on Russell, guys. Yeah, let's not keep way race control listed. It'd be Bortolo at Agile. Well, I hope not. I mean, I hope neither of them impeded each other. They're both on my F1 fantasy team. I don't need either of them getting a penalty. But as far as it looks, the stewards don't seem too bothered when people impede each other, so I reckon we will be all right. Red Bull car is so bad. I think a couple of podiums are the goal for this year. Unfortunately, it's starting to look a little bit more like that. I say the hard thing is the gap between Verstappen and Hadjar. Not actually that big. 2/10 is for a guy who is in his second year of the sport and has one podium compared to four-time world champion, one of the greatest of all time, Max Verstappen. To only be 2/10 off is completely respectable. It's just unfortunately that's currently the difference between P4 and P9. Sorry, a bit late for me. I've had a busy day screaming my lungs out over a sprint race. You might have seen it. Ferrari Macarena wing? No, Ferrari do not have the Macarena wing currently. They took it out for pre-practice one. Oh, wow. Okay, there's a stat and a half. Charles Leclerc is half a second faster than Russell through the corners. And you want to know why that is? That is all turbo size. That is entirely based on the size of the turbo. That's what that tells me. Is that the smaller turbo gives massive speed advantage through the corners, but then means they lose out a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean nearly as much as they gain through the corners. It's interesting, which leads me to believe there might not actually be a definitive best option as to whether you choose to go in now I'm just seeing Q2 is underway. As I see, who is that out first? Is that Kimi or George? That is Antonelli. It's the first driver out of the pits. I might try to sync my stream. Oh no, it's close enough. So we get on the way. Of course, everyone I would imagine is on a set of soft compound tires. Pardon me. You can handle it. Others can't. Now Hadjar can. Well, I don't think either Red Bulls can handle that kind of only. Had Red Bull sandbagging to the last race. If only. Please hit like, of course, please hit like. And if you are enjoying, do subscribe. We, of course, stream every single session. You'll probably hear me a couple more times this year. You'll, of course, hear me tomorrow. You'll hear me a fair bit in Japan. You'll hear me for not a long time afterwards because all of the races are at like 2 a.m. for me afterwards. So you won't hear me for a while, but then Baku, Hungary, Las Vegas, you should hear me again. I should be able to be back in the commentary box for you all. So Max Kimmy, to see you all showing support for the drivers you love. Let's just make sure we're only hitting the like button. As Antonelli now exits the final corner to begin his first flying lap of Q2 and the first flying lap of anyone in Q2. Rooting for Lewis podium. Yes, I hope so. No further investigation. Bortoletto Hadjar turned 15 impeding. That is very, very good news. The last thing we need is Bortoletto, now that the Audi seems to have strong pace, getting penalties. Gabby, oh, sorry, not Gabby. Kimi through the first sector at 24.1. Of course, the purple sector one is the first one to do a push lap. George Russell through the first sector at 24.0. A purple sector for him, snatching it back from Antonelli. Charles Leclerc now through the first sector. What magic can he pull? Let's have a look. Time is ticking down. 24.2, so roughly 2/10 off Russell's current pace. Antonelli, purple sector 2, he's 52.0 overall time so far. George Russell, 51.9. Wow, okay, so still up on Antonelli by the end of the second sector. Have a look at Charles Leclerc, see how he's doing pace-wise. He's at a purple middle sector, which puts him on pace with Antonelli so far. Give me Antonelli rounds the hairpin, and we see Hulkenberg sitting at purple last sector again. That Audi's mental down in straight lines, clearly. Antonelli to the line, 32.950 for Kimi Antonelli. George Russell will follow him across, though. What time does George set? He goes fastest by 0.4 of a second, a 32.523. Lewis Hamilton's taken the purple middle sector as Charles Leclerc rounds the final corner. What time can he do? Try to challenge those Mercedes. As the stream lags a little bit, he jumps Antonelli and slots into second place at 1:32.902. Lewis Hamilton, however, what can he do? Lewis Hamilton towards the line, jumps his teammate, goes 0.3 off at 1:32.834. Oscar Piastri is looking decent. So is Lando Norris and Isaac Hadjar. We see Hadjar rounding the final corner. Hadjar towards the line. He goes fifth fastest, 0.8 off the pace with 33.352. It'll be Lando Norris next across the line. What time can he do? Fifth fastest time of a 1:33.271 as my stream starts to lag. Splendid. Oscar Piastri towards the line. Seventh, a 1:33.364. So he'll hope to gain a bit more time there. Verstappen towards the line, fifth fastest with a 1:33.179. Now, what about that almighty Audi that we were seeing earlier today? Nico Hulkenberg towards the line, getting very close to the track limit. Only ninth so far, but not far off the pace. A 33.368 is a very respectable time. Behrman's looking pretty good. What sort of things can he manage as he goes through the final corner? Bortoletto should also be half decent. To catch my streams up and whatnot. They're not playing nice. I'll ignore them for the minute. Ollie Behrman to the line, goes sixth fastest, beating both McLarens. That's mighty lap time, a 1:33.197. Gabriel Bortoletto, I would imagine, will be next, as long as I'm not missing it. Oh, Ocon's gone 11th fastest. I missed that. Apologies. Bortoletto rounding the hairpin and then towards the final corner. Lawson is also on a lap. What time will Lawson post? As goodness me, I'm lagging a bit there. Bortoletto, 12th fastest, a bit off the pace so far. He'll hope to improve on that a bit. Arvid Lindblad will be next across the line from what I'm seeing. Sorry, the stream is lagging. It's not helping much. Arvid Lindblad towards the line, 12th fastest, a 1:33.784. Yeah, Gasly is somewhere on track. He's rounding the turn 13 sweeper onto the back straight. Colapinto, Gasly, and Lindblad are currently all appear to be the ones on time. Oh, goodness me, no, I'm lagging really badly. We'll work this out at some stage. Here, so Gasly, Colapinto, and Lawson are the 3 on laps. Lawson, so far not going faster than Hulkenberg. He'll want to try to find a bit more time. Pierre Gasly towards the line. He goes 8th fastest with a 1:33.280. That's very handy from him. Franco Colapinto will be next across the line to do a time fastest for 13th of 1:33.616. And finally, it will be Liam Lawson after he comes around the final hairpin to finish off the opening laps for this SQ2 section. Liam Lawson through the final corner. Nice exit. What can he do to try to impact the top 10? Not much. A 14th fastest time, a 1:33.765. Let's see if I can't get this stream to catch up. There we go. We're back. So back. So far, not looking shabby for the Ferraris. 3/10 off George Russell and ahead of Antonelli is a very respectable position to find oneself in. As the times continue to fall. Drivers will be looking to find a bit more. Bortoletto, I'm imagining he's probably made a mistake somewhere off on that lap because normally he's not that far off Hulkenberg. Piastri will be wanting to gain some time. Hadjar, I mean, of course, basically everyone in the bottom 6 currently, but Piastri, Bortoletto, Hadjar, yeah, I mean, Hadjar's time's not terrible. Colapinto, he's still a decent one off his teammate. And as much as he's not threat of going out, Antonelli, he'd probably like to be a little bit closer to Russell in terms of lap time. Just saying, as are beginning to wander out of the pit lane, Piastri will be first to get out there and get underway with some new laps. Yeah, Max and go, Isaac. I tend to agree. They really do have to pick their pace up. Oh wow, okay. Russell is 0.88 seconds faster than Hamilton down the straights. It's really interesting how much turbo size is impacting where teams have an advantage. So that makes me think if I were to predict when the first Ferrari win would be, it would probably like next weekend is kind of a shout because uh, Suzuka is, of course, I would say a lower speed circuit in terms of being good in corners is a bit more useful than being good down straights in Suzuka through personal experience sim racing that track. Then, of course, track where Ferrari would always like to do quite well, Monaco. I would imagine Ferrari will be a lot better. Will possibly be the fastest team in Monaco. However, in Monza, that would I would be more inclined to say that Mercedes might hold an advantage there. It might be in their best interest to try to find something that might give them a bit more top speed compared to the Merc. As oh, my stream's lagging again. Okay, I'm just going to look at the TV pictures as Oscar Piastri begins the second push lap of his Q2 session. Try reloading the stream. That might help a little bit. It's looking all right through the first corners. I'm going on board with him. He's struggling a little bit, getting a lot of snaps of oversteer. What's his first sector going to look like? That's not too bad. 0.145 seconds off Russell's first sector time. That should put him a slightly more comfortable window. How about Charles Leclerc's first sector time? Purple sector. He does he goes 0.63 seconds up on Russell's time so far. I'd give you the exact sector time, but I trust you can all read it. 24.022. My blind little eyes can read those numbers correctly. Piastri holding pace with the Mercedes through the middle sector. That's one thing I've noticed the McLarens do quite well. They can stick with the Mercedes quite well through the middle sector. So Leclerc is now 2/10 up by the end of the middle sector. That's very handy from him. And Hamilton slightly down through the middle sector, not a personal best. Now, Oscar Piastri's time better be pretty damn good. He can't risk this going poorly because otherwise he's going to find himself in a mighty awkward situation because he won't have time for another push lap. He'll have to do a cool push if he wants to try to get another lap in. Oscar Piastri through the final corner towards the line. Oscar Piastri jumps up to 5th with a 1:33.130 now. How about Charles Leclerc, everybody? Purple sector 1, purple sector 2, fastest overall, personal best sector 2, a 1:33.486 is the time. Lewis Hamilton next towards the line, improves, but does not jump George Russell or challenge his teammate. Just under a tenth off. Lando Norris next through the final corner. What can Lando Norris do? Can he get close to his teammate? Or will he stay roughly? He jumps his teammate by about a tenth to settle 133.024. Looking at other drivers who are on laps so far, I believe Hulkenberg has just started his. So he'll be hoping that he can gain a bit of time. He would be very rough to qualify 11th twice in a row. Top 3 Gasly is crazy. Top 3 gap is crazy. Sorry, misread that. Hulkenberg hasn't set a personal best for the first sector. Antonelli sets a personal best for the first sector, but he hasn't. He's a 10th off Leclerc's sector time. Hulkenberg, again, probably looking to try to find some time as Russell. Oh, I don't think he's pushing in that first sector. That's 2.7 seconds off the pace. Looking at Hulkenberg, he's now improving on Hadjar. He's about a 10th up by the end of the middle sector. That's more like what the Audi was going to want to see. But of course, the Audi is strongest through that final sector. So he could gain even more as Antonelli sets a purple middle sector, but can't. This is a 10th off Leclerc's time. You see the Audi tear down the straight before it then unfortunately starts a super clip. What time can Nico Hulkenberg pace to try to get into Q3 for the first time in a long while? Hadjar is improving slightly, but probably not by as much as you'd want to, considering there are fast drivers like Nico Hulkenberg out on track. Hulkenberg to the line. Oh, 0.002 seconds off. He's currently 2 milliseconds away from getting in to Q3. That is painful for Hulkenberg. He will not get another lap in. Antonelli to the line. Goes fastest by 0.043 seconds, a 132.443. What can Hadjar do? Can he try to guarantee his place in Q3? He'd sure want to hope he could, considering how close some of those drivers behind him have been getting to his previous times. Isaac Hadjar to the line. Doesn't improve. That's massive. I could really put him in jeopardy. Verstappen to the line. Goes 6th fastest. Jumps Piastri. It'll be Gabriel Bortoleto next across the line. What can he do? Can he jump up? Oh, yellow flag. What's the yellow flag? What's caused the yellow flag? Is anyone stopped out on track? That's... Oh, no, an Audi. Berg. That's Hulkenberg. Oh, no, he's... Who is that? Can't tell. God, everything's lagging so much. Someone's had an incident in the final corner. That screwed over, like, nearly everybody. I don't know if a bunch of people... Yeah, Bortoleto had an incident. He stuffed up his braking... his braking, sorry, in the final corner. That's probably impaired some people's laps. I wasn't quite keeping track of it. So Bortoleto is out and starting 16th. Gasly to the line. Does he improve? He jumps up to 5th. Gasly, P5, the 33.0. Oscar Piastri follows him across the line to go. He does not improve. He should be fine, though. Franco Colapinto to the line. P12 jumps Esteban Ocon. 0.005 seconds away from making it into Q3. Hulkenberg and Colapinto so close. Norris is improving. He should be fine, however. Piastri, Behrman, Gasly, and Colapinto have taken the line. Colapinto is out. Hulkenberg is out. Bortoleto is out. Is Ocon on a lap? Ocon is on a lap, but it's not looking too fancy. Piastri jumps up to 5th. Sorry, Norris jumps up to 5th. I'm wrong, McLaren. Russell's is reporting some possible issues. The small drivers are taking the flag now. I'm lagging more and more. It's really not helping me try to work out what's happening. Just getting a replay of what happened to Gabriel Bortoleto. If my live pictures could stop lagging for a second. He brakes for the corner. Oh, he just got a snap of oversteer and he's flown off into the gravel. He's tapped the wall with the rear left tyre. I think he might be all right, though. Have a look at the rear of that car. I think he'll be fine. I want to do a double check on that. Just having a look. Yeah, no one else in the bottom 6 is improving. So that means out in Q2. Nico Hulkenberg, 0.002 seconds off. Franco Colapinto, 0.005 seconds off. Esteban Ocon, 13th. Lawson 14th, Lindblad 15th, and Gabriel Bortoletto, after making an almighty accident, or not an almighty accident, an almighty mistake, the final corner will be out. Now, just as I was saying that briefly, George Russell was reporting some issues with his, I believe he said his gearbox is what he was concerned about. So they're going to be making some checks on that car, which could possibly mean we see a different pole sitter from Australia, which a man can dream. A man can dream. He can't be, he might be wrong, but he could dream. Once again, just getting a lot of lag here. Sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that my broadcast is up to date with the one that you're all seeing. It's a bit hard to keep track of, as I'm sure you could imagine when you've got three different things that all tend to lag a little bit. Whether it be the Discord call that I'm in, the stream, or the YouTube stream, or the live pictures that I'm watching. So if I'm not mistaken, it is the same top 10 from SQ3. And the same drivers have gotten out. The same drivers who got out in SQ1, or the same drivers who got in Q1. Drivers who went out in SQ2 are the drivers who went out in Q2, meaning that the drivers who made it into SQ3 are the drivers who made it into Q3. I believe, unless I'm missing something. Okay. I may have to resync myself a little bit because I lagged quite a bit there, but I will try to make sure to resync myself so that my commentary can be half decent. Why they're yellow flags? That's just kind of a default thing that F1 does whenever they might have someone cleaning up the gravel from what in the incident Bortoletto had. Could be something along those lines. I must say it's very unfortunate for Audi, who were looking very, very quick and looking to upset some teams who are standard Q3 appearances, notably Red Bull, but it hasn't quite come together, which is rather unfortunate. Hulkenberg's time, of course, he'll be looking over that, and he'll be quite frustrated at how close he was to getting through. Yes, we've got both Mercedes, both McLarens, both Ferraris, both Red Bulls, the Alpine of Pierre Gasly, and the Haas of Oliver Behrman. We're seeing here, I believe they're doing a front wing change on George Russell's car. I'd assume that's where they believe the issue is coming from, that he reported. Kevin was in Haas right now. I assume you're referring to Kevin Magnussen. Well, I promise you, Kevin is probably having the time of his life in BMW in the World Endurance Championship once they stop cancelling the start of the season and actually get underway in, I believe, Imola is where the season opener will be now that the Bahrain, oh, sorry, not the Bahrain, the Qatar, however many hours, 8 hours, I think, is cancelled due to fairly obvious reasons. Seeing there, Franco Colapinto looking rather frustrated at how close he was to making it into Q3. Which honestly, I can't blame him. If I was Nico Hulkenberg or Franco Colapinto right now, I would be rather irritated. Merc and Ferrari battle for the top 1, 2, McLaren and Red Bull. Doubtful battle for third and fourth. No, Red Bull are not fighting for third. That's just not true. Red Bull are way off the pace of McLaren. Matt, you've got to remember, like, I think Isaac is a definitive pace marker of that Red Bull team, and he's just struggled to make it into Q3, and I think that's not an unreasonable depiction. Winning the World Constructors Championship, Mercedes. I'm going to be completely honest. Unless Antonelli starts to struggle to finish Grand Prix above the Ferraris, he will be a consistent appearance in the top rostrum, and well, as long as he can do that, Mercedes are winning the Constructors' Championship. Q3 has started. Yes, Q3 has started. Okay, I don't seem to be too out of sync with the YouTube stream compared to my TV pictures, so I believe we should be all good. As we see the two Mercedes roll out first, then the two Ferraris following them. So here's a stat. Passes through the low-speed corners. The two Ferraris are basically equal. Then George Russell is 6/10 off. Behrman is 6/10 off. And Antonelli's... Oh, no! Russell stopped on track! He said he's got no battery. He says he's got no battery. I'm just listening to this normal commentators. This could be massive. He's currently stopped off the exit of turn 3. George Russell is currently sat. I'm watching to see if he removes the steering wheel. The engine's still going, so he could get it going. But yes, he's going. He's going. George Russell's going. Okay. That could have been a massive issue for George Russell. Good to see he's gotten going again. But we will want to watch him for the rest of this session because clearly he's got some issues. Which would be a massive shame for him. Just looking as Antonelli begins on his way for his first flying lap of the session on a set of soft compound tyres. And more radius from George Russell. Russell is saying he's stuck in first gear. George Russell says he's stuck in first gear. He can't gear shift. That could be massive if he can't gear shift. As Antonelli does a 24-0 in the first sector. If George Russell can't gear shift, they might not be able to fix. Like, that's a pretty serious issue. So he might not be able to fix it, which means we could be on Kimi Antonelli about to take pole position, which would make him the youngest driver to sit on pole position for a Grand Prix. So this is massive for Antonelli. This is massive for Leclerc. This is massive for Hamilton, because any of them could take pole position at this stage. Leclerc doesn't quite beat the first sector time, but he's close to Antonelli's first sector time as Antonelli continues to march on. Purple first and second sector. Leclerc close through both sectors, however, as George Russell hasn't even made it to the pit lane yet. Antonelli's now lapped him. This is going to take a long time. As watching Antonelli through the final corner now, he's currently what will be his provisional pole time comes out as a 1:32.322 to go fastest with a purple sector 1, sector 2, sector 3. What can Charles Leclerc do about that? Can he upset the young rookie hoping for a pole position? As he rounds the final corner, Charles Leclerc sprints towards the line. He doesn't beat him. He's currently 3/10 off with a 1:32.623. Lewis Hamilton next around the final corner. What does Lewis Hamilton do? Lewis Hamilton towards the line. He's even further off, a 1:33.020. We'll be wanting to improve from there. Behrman will be next across the line, setting a timed lap as George Russell has now made it to the pits. Oliver Behrman through the corner. Yes, this is live. Oliver Behrman crosses the line to set a 1:33.956. He'll want to be going faster than that. I'm fairly certain he already has today. Pardon me. Having a look here, a replay of Lewis Hamilton through turn 8 and 9. Oh, massive snap. Oh, that's nasty. The rest mean he lost half a second through there, so that would have put him close to Antonelli if he hadn't had that big old slide. Now looking at Leclerc here through turn 12 and 13. Oh, he's pushing wide. You got a lot of oversteer and understeer at the same time. That's never something you want to see. As we've got more time starting to fall. Pierre Gasly's setting a lap time. Norris and Piastri both on respective laps. Norris has got he's going to lovely toe down the back straight from Charles Leclerc there. Not something Leclerc will want to be doing when Leclerc is possibly challenging. George Russell's cars, there's maintenance being done on it actively. He's still sat in the car. He's yet to get out, so he might be able to get back on track as Pierre Gasly crosses the line to go P5 with a 134.052. As Lando Norris will be next across the line. What can Lando do? Lando goes second fastest with a 132.608. What about his teammate Oscar Piastri? What can Oscar do on pole last year, taking his first pole position as he comes towards the line? Oscar Piastri goes second fastest with a 132.550. When Mercedes fail, who should replace him but a Mercedes-powered car? Isaac Hadjar towards the line. What can he do? He goes sixth fastest, a second off the pace of Kimi Antonelli, and Max Verstappen pops him by only 2/100ths of a second. Everyone has now set a lap time, excluding the current championship leader, George Russell. They are still actively working on the car, and it looks like they will be getting ready to send him out again. So far, our front row, Antonelli and Piastri, who is 2/10ths off the pace of that Mercedes. We were worried that they were going to be leagues down the road, but looks like there is nothing to be worried about. The Mercedes are conquerable, as McLaren and Ferrari are determined to prove to us. Ferraris both made mistakes on their laps, which would put them a hell of a lot closer to those cars. So they will be hoping to try to pimp the McLarens to P2 and P3, and possibly Antonelli to P1. Once again, just keeping track of the pulse on the situation with George Russell. For those who may have arrived a little bit late, George Russell has stopped out on track and then managed to get going again, but was stuck in first gear. It looks like they are going to send him out again. However, of course, currently he does not have a lap time, and if he breaks down on track again, we could risk the current starting order being starting order if the yellow flag comes out at a poor time. I'm just looking at George's car. They're currently pumping it with something. I'm not sure what. I might be hydraulic fluid, is my best guess. It's Marcus Dudley there. His team principal. Looks like they're doing a lot of changes very quickly. Yes, they're grabbing his steering wheel. They're doing a steering wheel change as well. I would imagine this is probably a precautionary thing just to change everything. Try to make sure that it basically change all the easy things. So whatever it is, they have it solved. So please Ferrari 1-2. Well, currently they have 3 cars all powered by Mercedes engines to jump to try to achieve that. Apologies. I've been talking quite a bit if you haven't already guessed. Yes, currently Kimi Antonelli sits on a provisional first ever pole position, youngest ever pole sitter. And then Piastri currently fills out the provisional second row. Then Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Hadjar, Behrman, Gasly, and George Russell will currently be starting P10. The one good thing is that George Russell, as Antonelli has proved through his 2 horrendous race starts, the Mercedes can work its way up the field. So this will be basically a match. Like, even if he does start P10, I wouldn't count him out for the race win, or at least a podium. So even if he doesn't make it out on track, it's not the end of the world to an extent. As cars are now wandering back out on track, we've got Kimi Antonelli out on track, Lando Norris out on track, Charles Leclerc out on track, Lewis Hamilton out on track. I don't see the other Mercedes in the pit lane just yet. I see Lewis Hamilton out on track. Then Gasly, Behrman, and Piastri are lining up in the pit lane. George Russell yet to move into the pit lane from what I have seen. Max Verstappen is now entering the pit lane. Isaac Hadjar is in the pit lane. Everyone is either in the pit lane or on track except for our World Championship leader, And favourite for pole position, George Russell. Let's see whether they send him out or not. It looks like they're going, like they're all standing there waiting and ready. So I would assume that they're going to send him out. But if I were to guess, and this is a massive guess, they may be concerned that if Antonelli gets stuck in an awkward spot during his lap when Russell possibly stops on track, they want to try to make sure that Antonelli's got a lap time in and then sneak Russell out to try not to cause a yellow flag because they don't want to risk Antonelli not being able to. As yes, George Russell now exits his garage and enters the pit lane as Antonelli begins what could be the lap of his life to try to snatch pole position from his teammate, from the McLarens, from the Ferraris. Probably not from the Red Bulls. They're a bit further off the pace. So Kimi Antonelli's on his lap. Lando Norris is now on his lap. Charles Leclerc starts his lap next. Antonelli down on his own time through the middle through the first sector, but only by 100th of a second. That's competitive. Lando Norris next through the first sector. What time can he do? A purple first sector for Lando Norris. 0.008 seconds up. Can McLaren's bring it to Kimi Antonelli and George Russell once he gets a timeout there? Charles Leclerc through the first sector, a 10th down. Not a personal best. Lando Norris is out with a vengeance. Antonelli purple middle sector. 0.04 seconds up on his previous best time. Having a look down the rest of the field. No, everyone is slowly ticking across, setting some decent lap times. Norris, 0.025 seconds down on Antonelli's previous time, but a personal best through the first sector. This is getting heated. Charles Leclerc, purple middle sector, 0.061 seconds off Mercedes of Kimi Antonelli. As Kimi Antonelli has just done the hairpin, he's about to round the final corner. Can he improve on his time? Kimi Antonelli towards the line for what could possibly be pole position. Improves by 0.2 of a second, a 1:32.065. That is a blinding lap from him. Lando Norris will be next across the line. Can Lando Norris gain that much time in the final sector? Lando Norris, he can't do it. He doesn't even improve. Lando Norris stays P3. Charles Leclerc is now next to the line. What can he do? Charles Leclerc comes to the line. P2 for Charles Leclerc. 0.3 off the pace. Now, how about Lewis Hamilton? He's going to hope for a good qualifying here. Through the final corner, Lewis Hamilton towards the line. He takes P2. He's out-qualified Charles Leclerc. 0.351 seconds off the pace. Antonelli still on pole position. Yeah, Gasly now towards the line. What can he do? He jumps to P6, jumping both Red Bulls, but they still haven't done their second laps yet. Oliver Behrman is next towards the line. What can he do? P7 for Ollie Behrman. 1:32.292. Isaac Hadjar and Max Verstappen. He's like fighting his way through the hairpin. Piastri doesn't improve. Behrman, Piastri might not have made the line in time. Hadjar, P7. He jumps Behrman. Verstappen next across the line. What can Verstappen do? He jumps his teammate just to take P7. George Russell, green first sector. He's a 10th down on Antonelli through the middle sector. Antonelli looks to be on pole position. Unless George Russell nailed this final sector. He's been strong through the final sector compared to Antonelli all weekend. We're seeing some purple mini sectors. Can they continue? This is so crucial for George Russell. He has to try to out-qualify his teammate. And he has to try to make sure he out-qualifies those Ferraris. He should have that done. But can he beat his teammate? I'm not seeing a lot of purple mini sectors. It might not be good enough as he rounds the final corner. George Russell to the line. What's his time? It's not good enough. Andrea Kimi Antonelli takes his first ever career pole position. George Russell, 0.2 of a second off. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, ladies and gentlemen, your pole sitter for the 2026 Chinese Grand Prix by 0.2 of a second ahead of his teammate. A 1:32.064. Is the championship fight on? We'll wait to see until he can do a race start. Antonelli climbing out of his car, the youngest ever pole sitter. He's absolutely thrilled over the radio. What a qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. And we thought the gaps were going to be big. Only 1.2 seconds covering all of the positions. Gasly once again in P7, out qualifying both Red Bulls, practically clowning on them. He's, put it kindly, he's walking around a bit lost, like he doesn't know what to do. You could tell it's his first ever time there. But yes, I believe he takes the record from maybe Sebastian Vettel. Either Vettel or Verstappen. Verstappen took a sweet while to get his first podium, or pole position, sorry. So I believe he's just taken the record from Sebastian Vettel to become the youngest pole sitter in Formula One history. Oh my God, my boys. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Verstappen was younger. Verstappen was not younger. Andrea Kimi Antonelli is the youngest pole sitter. I don't think you realize how long it took Verstappen to get his first pole position. It was like 2018 or something. 2017, 2018. Oh, wow. Really, that was electric from everyone out there. So we have George Russell starting P2 alongside his teammate, zero point 0.2 seconds off pace wise. Then Lewis Hamilton, 0.35 seconds off for P3, out qualifying his teammate. Very strong performance from Lewis Hamilton. And his teammate not leagues behind him, but they'll be hoping that one of the two of them can lead into the first corner come tomorrow's race. Oscar Piastri has out-qualified his teammate for the second time this season in Grand Prix qualifying, meaning currently that head-to-head is 2-0 to Oscar Piastri as Lando Norris has lined up sixth. Pierre Gasly, again, an insane qualifying. P7. Pierre Gasly, take a bow. Out-qualifying both Red Bulls by quite a margin. Max Verstappen, P8. Isaac Hadjar, only really a tenth behind in P9. And then Ollie Behrman, another 2 tenths behind, driving the Haas. I mean, really, what else is there to say? Everyone's taken it to their teammates so far. Antonelli, those who were believed to be a bit down compared to previous sessions, Antonelli taking it to Russell, Hamilton taking it to Leclerc, Piastri to Norris. Hadjar not quite taking it to Verstappen as much as he would have liked to. Yeah, wow. I couldn't ask for much more from a qualifying session. And honestly, after watching qualifying in Australia and sprint qualifying here in China, I was a bit concerned the qualifying was going to be a bit boring, and that Sundays were really going to be the entertaining bit. But yeah, wow, I no words. I was genuinely thrilled. Well, I'm gonna wrap that up there, mostly because of the fact that my voice is a bit dead, if you couldn't tell, from screaming about the fact that Kimi Antonelli just got his first ever pole position, and my dinner's waiting on the table because I skipped dinner to watch this. I would much rather watch it get it eaten as soon as possible. So thank you all for joining us for this brilliant qualifying session, and I hope for just as good a race tomorrow. And if Antonelli is ever going to nail a race start, let's do it now. See you all tomorrow.
Right. Quickly to jump in because I think, guys, we need to update our bingo cards. So I'm gonna bring that on screen, and I'm gonna be updating mine live because I think I'm gonna take some updates. So let's see. And if you haven't yet joined the bingo league, there's a link in the pinned comment in chat, so you can follow it there and you can update your own bingo cards. And yeah, I think this is gonna be a fun thing to do throughout the season. So let's go first. Let me see, how can I find my card? There it is. So first I had Ferrari podium. I think I'm gonna keep that one. One Aston Martin retires before 50% of the race. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be keeping this one. I mean, Aston is not fast, but they looked a bit better, I think, in terms of reliability in the sprint. So yeah, maybe I'll remove this one. And okay, Russell doesn't win. Russell wins. I don't know. I wouldn't touch that one. A driver gets a penalty of 5 seconds or more, or full safety car deployed. I think the full safety car uh, is gonna be okay. I think yeah. So there's that. Zero team radio complaining about batteries. I'm gonna actually remove this one. Let's see. Kimi Antonelli gets his first Grand Prix win. Well, you know, I'm gonna bet on this one. And I don't think we're gonna hear the Macarena wing. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna go with Kimi Antonelli getting his first Grand Prix. Bottas finishes ahead of Perez. I'm gonna keep that. Driver gains 5 or more places on lap 1. Ferraris are quite ahead, so they can't gain much places. So maybe this one is to be changed. Sainz had a pretty good start in Australia, but I don't know if, yeah, I don't know if anyone could do this, like 5 places on lap 1. So I'm gonna remove this. Have maybe Hamilton finishes ahead of Leclerc, but yeah, I wouldn't touch that. Same driver wins sprint and Grand Prix. No, I wouldn't do this because I'm expecting Kimi to win. Mercedes engine fails. Nope. Let's see. Team gains a position through an undercut in the pit stops. I think this is a pretty safe one. I'm gonna choose this one. Then let's see, 8 or more teams score points across sprint plus Grand Prix. I don't know how many teams. Well, yeah, I wouldn't touch this because there's another one below that's gonna give us 10 points. Now the long shots. We have Verstappen wins, Hamilton wins, Hajar podium. Limblad into top 8. He's P15. I wouldn't touch this one. Let's see. Alpine scores points. I think this is a good one. Gasly's P7, Colapinto P12. Yeah, I think this is a good one for 5 points. I'm gonna remove the red flag incident. I'm gonna pick Alpine score points. Then let's see. I get to choose one more. So I have Williams, Aston, or Cadillac score point. This is pretty much me betting on Williams doing some crazy strategy and getting to the points. But I'm gonna leave this one. But what would be the last one, guys? Tell me in chat. I don't know what to choose. McLaren podium, not really, with Mercedes and Ferrari up there. The Mercedes engine fails. But there are a lot of Mercedes engines on the track, so maybe a possibility, but no. Yeah, maybe just keep this one. One Aston Martin retires before 50% of the race. Or no, actually I'm gonna go with a driver gets a penalty of 5 seconds or more. I think this is safe. Let's go. So these are my picks. 4 or more cars retire. Williams, Aston, Cadillac score points. Bottas ahead of Perez. Ferrari podium. Full safety car. Antonelli wins. Team gains position through undercut. Alpine score points and a driver gets a penalty of 5 seconds or more. Looking forward to see yours. So drop them into the Discord and see you all tomorrow for the race. You'll be taken now to the race stream, so make sure you like it before you go. See you tomorrow.